What's happening, guys? This is the crew from ManVersusFish. I'm Josh, and this is Pops, and this is a Baitcaster, and worse yet, this is a bird's nest. We're gonna show you how you don't have to have any of those anymore. We have a 3-step process for setting up your Baitcaster. It's gonna get you out on the water a lot longer and without this frustrating, maddening bit of overrun happening every time you're throwing out your lure. So let's get at it. 3-step process, but first let's go ahead and roll that intro.
You can call me stupid, yes, you can call me sheep. You can say I'm lazy, you can say I'm weak. You think that using her would get to me, and if you're right then you're in trouble deep. Cause I won't break, no I know I won't wait. You're in trouble deep.
All right, guys, let's get right into it. Tip number 1, the first thing you do with a brand new Baitcaster. Pops?
Spool tension knob. Right there underneath your handle, there's a little knob. You can see it right there.
This knob right here.
Now, why is that really important? Because the spool tension is what controls the cast in the beginning. If you're getting a backlash in the beginning of your cast, your spool tension knob is too loose. Okay, so the first thing we're gonna do is we're going to tighten this spool tension knob down a little bit, and we're going to let it go. That's too fast and it causes a backlash. That's how you know it's too loose. Tighten it down a little bit, do it again. That's too tight, back off. That's perfect. Step number 1, get it to where when you drop that lure, the spool stops when it hits the ground.
All right, guys, so step number 1 is getting that spool tension correct. We're gonna get into step number 2 real quick, but before we do, we wanna hear from you. If you don't mind, pause this video and real quick, head down to the comments, tell us your absolute favorite Baitcaster of all time, and while you're at it, let us know the first Baitcaster you ever got. When you graduated from spinning gear up to a Baitcaster, what was that? All right, let's get back to it. Step number 2 for getting your Baitcaster squared away is the braking system.
So the braking system, you want to start with it set on 0. After you have your spool tension knob adjusted properly, then just increase your braking to about halfway. Take your first cast with that. As you get better, you're going to be able to back off the spool tension and the braking. But this is how you start. This is where you want to be. You're not going to get a great deal of distance, but you will have control and you won't get a backlash.
All right, guys, and the third tip that we have for you, the last thing you want to set up, you've done your spool tension, you've done your braking system, got to get your drag right.
This is the drag star right here. Counterclockwise, it loosens it. Clockwise, it tightens it. Never set your drag higher than the pound test that you're using. When you can pull this off easily like that, that's how you start. You hit a fish, you can thumb it, but don't set it higher than your test pound for your line, or you're gonna set and you're gonna break it off.
All right, guys, recapping, we got 3 tips for you. You open up that Baitcaster, you get it out on the water. First thing you do is get that spool tension right. Second thing you do is you get your braking system right. And last thing you do is you get your drag. So the bonus tip in this video here is every time you throw on a bait that's of a new weight, you got to do this again. Take the time up front, go ahead and knock this out so that you're not frustrated and hitting a bird's nest when you change from a heavy jig over to something like a crankbait. See that all the time, it's super frustrating. You can avoid that by simply going through the process. Really appreciate you watching, really appreciate you subscribing and liking this video. Do the thing, smash the button, whatever it is you like to call it. We'll really appreciate it, and we'll see you on the next video.